Our top story right here out of New York, Alvin Bragg is now sweating even more than usual tonight. Now, his pathetically weak case against former President Trump has totally imploded. Let's be very clear here. The case died this very week. It is very obvious. It is very clear. It's transparent. Alvin Bragg had every intention of indicting Donald J. Trump this week, but for the second straight day, grand jury proceedings were canceled today. Now, Bragg is now telling Reuters that it was former President Donald Trump that created a false expectation of arrest. It was never actually going to happen, according to Bragg, it seems. Really, after a multi-year investigation, the formation of a grand jury, the DA's meeting with law enforcement to coordinate an impending arrest of a former president, and we're supposed to believe that somehow Donald Trump created the false expectation of arrest. Now, the New York Times, they reported, of course, Pulitzer Prize-winning group that they are, based on fake news. Anyway, they reported that criminal charges against Trump were likely on March the 9th. That's when they first did it. Remember Maggie Haberman, a Pulitzer Prize winner for a story she got wrong on the Russian hoax? She was all over fake news CNN saying, yeah, looks like it's going to happen. Well, that story was out 9 days before Donald Trump even mentioned it on Truth Social, his platform. So I don't think it was Donald Trump that created the expectation. It was actually Bragg, the media mob, and his office probably leaking to the New York Times and probably others. And now it looks like Bragg is having trouble delivering on his campaign promise. He promised during the campaign that he would go after one man, Donald Trump, one company, the Trump Organization, one family, the Trump family. And as most of you know by now, the DA's entire case relied on the testimony of a serial liar and a convicted felon by the name of Michael Cohen. And this week, for the very first time, the grand jury actually heard the truth about Cohen from somebody who's not a serial liar, who's not an ex-con, but we heard from his former legal advisor right here on this show, Bob Costello, and he blows Michael Cohen's story right out of the water. Take a look.
What do you have on Donald Trump? And that's when he started with the same litany that he used for the rest of the 2 hours. I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump. But the point is, when somebody is really thinking of committing suicide and you're offering them a legal way out of this, if he had any information about Donald Trump, that would have been the one time, even for a serial liar like Michael Cohen, to fess up and say, well, wow, I know this or that, because I want to save my own hide. But he didn't do that. Michael Cohen, who, as I said before, was pacing back and forth, would suddenly stop in the middle of whatever he was talking about and turn and point his finger at us and say, I want you guys to understand, I will do whatever the F I have to do. I will never spend a day in jail. He said that at least 10 to 20 times during that 2-hour period. It was a bizarre mantra, but it made it clear to us that Michael Cohen was saying, I will lie, cheat, steal, shoot someone. I will never spend a day in jail.
Wow. Powerful testimony. That happened this week. Now, Cohen said to Costello many times, I have nothing on Donald Trump. And not only did Costello destroy the credibility of the state's star witness, Cohen, but Cohen himself completely contradicts the state's case. Look at this newly uncovered document. This is from 2018. This is from Michael Cohen's own lawyer to the FEC. Quote, in a private transaction in 2016, before the U.S. presidential election, Mr. Cohen used his own personal funds to facilitate a payment of $130,000 to Ms. Stephanie Clifford. Neither the Trump Organization nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford. So is Cohen lying under oath now, or during that statement to the FEC? Now, of course, at the very center of the case is a completely legal, what's called an NDA, over an alleged affair from 2007. There is zero evidence whatsoever that the Trump campaign paid for this NDA. As a matter of fact, Cohen says they did not. There's no evidence they played a role in the NDA. In fact, there's no evidence that the affair in question ever took place. People can believe what they want, but there's no evidence of it. According to the Washington Post, of all places, Stormy Daniels denied the affair multiple times, including in writing on January 30th, 2018. This is a letter that was obtained by TMZ. Take a look at your screen. Quote, I am not denying this affair because I was paid, quote, hush money. I am denying this affair because it never happened. Even Stormy Daniels' former lawyer, JustTheNews.com, John Solomon, breaking tonight. Michael Alvinati. He's in prison, but he's tweeting in prison. I can't figure that one out. But he tweeted out that many critical pieces of evidence have yet to see the light of day, will be very damaging to the prosecution. So let me get this straight. The DA in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, dedicated thousands of hours, millions of tax dollars to a case surrounding a legal NDA over an alleged affair from 2007 that both parties deny based on allegations from a serial liar, convicted felon, Michael Cohen, who is hell-bent on getting revenge against his former boss. Now, a low-level felony that is so weak, so convoluted, and possibly even outside the statute of limitations that a grand jury in deep blue New York City might very well and seems to be rejecting it. Now, keep in mind, you can indict a ham sandwich in a grand jury. You don't need a unanimous verdict, and only the prosecution gets to present evidence. In other words, the defense gets zero opportunity to even speak to the grand jury, let alone present any evidence that they have. And it appears that Bragg has failed to pass that very, very, very low bar. In this case, it seems he can't indict a ham sandwich. Now, this is humiliating. Sorry, can't resist. This is humiliating for the DA's office and infuriating for the people of New York. Bragg wasted precious time and resources over a political hit job that probably won't ever see the light of day, while very real criminals, violent criminals, are roaming the streets of New York City every day. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.